Global Finals.
All right, London, one more chance. Get loud for the second half of the World Series of Warzone. Tiff, map 4 is here. Had a chance to talk to Empathy on Braxton's team right before this. Said he's known Braxton for about a year and a half now, and he DM'd him out of the blue, begging him to team with him, swearing that they could be one of the best teams in the world. A chance to go back-to-back here and prove that. And guess what? Guess who's fighting at the very beginning of the game, Tiff? Neither team relenting. Who's going to come out this time around? It looks like DBZ, a full team wipe. Send them to the gulag. DBZ, they need to move different. They are not in the money currently.
We're talking all about EU versus NA. Well, the contested airport is just that. And so far, Clutchbelk, Zlaner, and Destroy have been able to win this contest each and every time. And that was even more atrocious than the last because half of them didn't even get to pick up a weapon. It was just starter pistols, but Rated, Aiden, and Adrian, the young gun that has joined up, now known as the Cheddar Brothers. And Aiden himself, I believe his nickname that they told me in the interview was Buddy McBuster. So Buddy McBuster has entered Village.
Buddy McBuster, I'll use that one later. Hey, there's Meeks and Santify. They had a great showing in the World Series of Warzone qualifiers leading up to today. So far, not great, but we still have an entire second half of the World Series of Warzone to play. Lovey says he's got the best beard in the game. The question is, does he have the best grenade? Needs to find a knock. Playing low ground's gonna be tough. Looking for another angle. They've lost Reader already, and they've lost Authorized. Lovey in trouble. No, sirree. Bob Meeks on top. Reader in the gulag.
Reader in the gulag indeed, and I did see Aiden in the gulag as well. He was going up against Team Smixy, so Rohan must have been a little bit of turbulence for them because they found themselves early on in the gulag. But Savvy Ultra's back again here at Observatory, collecting cash up, hitting the buy station, trying to get their quick loadout in game to make sure that they can get aggressive. You can see squad number 39 just on the distance, closing up on them, but they're going to be underneath, so no real issue just yet. But Blade trying to get a line of sight, maybe he can get an early pick.
Yeah, we're definitely picking up on some patterns here from a lot of these teams. Of course, they have favorite drop spots. When you have a fairly central zone, you can land in whatever spot on the map that you would like. And it looks like our Asia team, the team that dominated the Asia regional expansion qualifiers, they've been hanging out here in Observatory, but they've been going underground to rotate out nearly every single time. They do not want to risk their life. And we always talk about the high risk, high reward playstyle that maybe a DBZ is playing. And some of these other teams, they're worried about staying alive. So that's what our Asia team is doing. We'll see if they're able to find some eliminations and continue to move up this leaderboard as well. A hometown favorite and a shed expert, FIFA Kill, finding a bit of fire, but looking to take down Diegosaurus.
Diegosaur from the back does go down. Abwiz on the low ground. Reaper trying to cover fire. As you can see, Laga just getting into the mix, but Oki, FIFA, and Abwiz able to swarm, and unfortunately Reaper is just able to plate back up and overlook his teammate while Oki peppers from afar. Now the issue of this is if I'm Reaper on the rooftop, I'm getting out of dodge, I'm playing my life, but you can already see that FIFA closed the gap and is able to wipe the entire team. To the gulag you go.
A huge take early game. FIFA Kill's team really needs to start moving up this leaderboard quickly. All of a sudden, we're going to be taking a look at that leaderboard. Not only who's near the top in the top 3 spots, but it's top 25 walking away with any cash today. You get 26, you're walking away with $0 to your name, unless of course you win that solo YOLO in the 7th map. Of course, it's all going to be on your own back, as it is solos. It's called Solo YOLO for a reason. We've had a modicum of different winners in the past, Tiff, and could be anyone's game. We saw that wheel being spun, trying to get some predictions. Intex not leaving anything up to chance, though. Quickly cleans up GUI. Teammates on the move.
Oh, Intex. I've seen him hit a crazy shots throughout Warzone competition history. Able to stow a flare for later should they need it, but Team eBay going big, taking out Team Jowo, and Elo finds a little bit of distance here. Champion close the distance. CZR goes down. Elo able to grab that, just going through, cleaning it up, and now adding some eliminations to them. But I keep an eye on this. StukeX and Hisoka, they've been going back and forth in that top 3 positioning. And honestly, they're doing incredibly well here, averaging 24.1 points per game. But let's toss it on over to Frankie, who's got Smixy on deck.
Thank you very much, Tiff. These interviews are sometimes very hard to do because obviously the team wants to focus and get back into the next game. Smixy, tell me how your day is going so far, because I know the last map has not been great for you.
Yeah, no, we're definitely struggling, but you know what? The last 3 games we weren't playing as a team, and then we just lost our initial gunfight in this map, so it is what it is. All we can do is do better in the next 2.
Do you think you can spend the time now focusing on how you can rebuild as a team?
Yeah, we've been discussing, but you know, if we don't win our initial fight, then there's not much that we can do.
Why do you think you're losing that initial fight? Is it always the same team that you're dropping with?
No, we've been getting contested by a different team, so we'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Well, I'll let you guys get back into focusing on your opponents, and we'll head back into the game.
Well, Tiff, that was a good, interesting interview because, well, sometimes when you take those early fights, they don't go your way, and we've seen it happen time and time again, not only with a team like Smixy, but also TBE at the very beginning of the game. Now, TBE has bettered themselves, though. They had a massive last couple maps, and you can see a fight going on screen. Echo finding his first elimination, but it gets revenge from his teammate. TBE is inside the top 5 after a nearly dropped map at the very beginning. Be interested to see where they fall at the end of the 4th.
That just goes to show you how it just takes one game to turn the tides. Second in map number 2 and already breaking into the top 5, but it's this team on your screen that has been, lo and behold, the front runners of the entire global finals seal at World Series of Warzone so far at 109.4 points, well into game number 4, and they're going to continue on that momentum. Shifty, Sage, and Biffle, the titans here of the lobby.
Nice aerial view of Shucks. There was a couple teams out there that said they needed to watch out for Shucks, and a couple teams that said, well, if I see Shucks, I'm sending Shucks. So some difference in opinion on skill level, but everyone has something to prove here, Tiff. Taking a look back, I would love to see Juki's really has had a tough tournament thus far. I was looking back at the leaderboard. I think they're outside of the money currently, and it's not all that close. They've been contested off drop, and seemingly things aren't going their way. They need to get a move on, and they need to get a move on now. Juki's, Vision, Lennon, a chance to go big here. They need a monster map to climb back into the running.
Lennon found himself in the gulag, and it looks like Vision's gonna join him. Juki's last on Al Mazrah for the squad, and they have the high ground sway, but they're gonna be able to push the issue. Invader doubles down and completely stack onto Juki's. That is a full squad wipe to the gulag, and you heard Smixy in that interview that Frankie just had with her, how tough it is to go to the gulag early. One bullet can make the difference. Now checking in with Aiden over here at Observatory.
Well, every team did a ton of research, which means every team knows that Savvy Ultras and Blade are gonna be at Observatory. There go Blade, and the entire team is wiped. I think they're out of this map. Unfortunate circumstances, and when you can't pivot off your initial landing spot, maybe you haven't tried something new and things aren't going your way, you only have a couple more maps to go. You've got to make a move now. I would love to see where StukeX is. We gotta show the EU folks here in London some love, and they've been playing fantastic all day today, currently situated in 3rd place, just right behind Hisoka. StukeX has been going big today. I'd love to see what they're doing and what's setting them apart from the rest of the EU competitors.
Yeah, they've been really solid. StukeX out of Germany, Boogs and Benzi both from the UK. I mean, look, they've transferred the leadership on that squad pre-stage 1, pre-stage 2. At this point, StukeX is the brain behind that squad. They only thought they would get maybe top 10, top 15, and they are nestled into a top 3 position as we work our way through the rooftops with Z colors on your screen with Team Swag.
They get Stuo, Inxian, and Padzuka on the other side. They're actually picking up the rotation. They found Super Evan on rotation. Find him off the top of the building. Swag's down as well. Color's in trouble. Color's last alive for his team. It's Inxian, it's Stuo, it's Padzuka going massive. Looks like they were able to answer back on 1, but they are able to get the cleanup. Still a 2v1, and Almond's right around the corner to potentially pick up a 3rd. This could be massive for Stuo and Inxian. Hey, I know there's a lot of people watching at home that have never seen Inxian's face, and he's showing face today. Full wipe on Team Swag.
Z-Colors was just trying to get out of that engagement. He didn't have any smokes to cover for his rotation out, and you can just see as soon as they swarm, but Super Evan was able to win his gulag, and you can see we're hitting the rotation with Team StukeX, but Empathy, Finessin, and Braxton, your former Map 3 winners, taking on the Titans of Aiden, Rated, and the young gun Adrian. You know, we were talking about nicknames earlier. Well, you know, Adrian's is Little A, dubbed by Rated. It's kind of cute, but he is that young up-and-comer, just turned 18, finally able to be one of the first major competitions here from Activision, because that's just how it is. He moved in, wanted to compete, and they are throwing it down here.
Yeah, totally agree. Somebody that's continuing to prove that his name and the kind of reputation that follows him is true to form. They've got an opportunity to do here at map 4. They got to win this gunfight. It's going to be tough. Let's take a look at the map. And again, if you want to take a look at the map, go head over to the Call of Duty Echo channel on Twitch. You can see this at all times. You can see where our zone is pulling to. Well, Tiff, it's probably going to be the marshlands or just outside of Al Sharim Pass. I'm excited to see what happens as the teams coming out of Observatory have a little bit of a moment of reprieve to fight each other and see who the last team standing will be in Observatory before the next zone pulls.
Well, then where Aiden and Co are is going to be absolutely solid to rack up a ton of eliminations, holding Marshlands hostage, but I'm keeping my eyes on the teams that are rotating out of that southeastern side. Team Echo and Tomsterbaum are going to have a really tough rotation, but so long as Aiden and Rated can hold this tight, you can even see Empathy and Braxton, they have the same idea. If they can just lay the land, take space here, even Azen going out early on to DBZ at Airport have made a nice regain because they went up against Smixy and the Gulag and mostly won theirs.
Yeah, I was about to ask if we could take a look at this because it's our top 2 teams fighting. Mayapo, Skullface on the other side of Sage, Biffle, Shifty. They've already gotten their better of their opponents once. The question is, can they do it again? Shifty needs to go big here against Mayapo. A fantastic place, grenade to break plates. Mayapo had to back off. You don't hit that nade. Mayapo grabs a knock on Shifty.
Sage is down, but does have a self-res. You can see that Shifty is able to tap him. Basically, what that'll happen is he'll be able to preserve it, but look what that does. It gives Hisoka time to get a pick onto Biffle and send him into the Gulag. We knew Mayapo from Team Soka was on the rooftop. A man of few words lets his gun do the talking, but Shifty able to navigate the fence line, just looking for an opening. He spots Soka, but not able to connect just yet. The former teammate looking to take Shifty down.
Sage is gone as well because of a third party from Desmond, Nico Infinite, and of course Crowder. They've got to get involved. They're lingering on the edge of the money. They're a fantastic team on rotations, but they need eliminations, and they found a third party to get one pick. You get a couple here, there, the next zone, and the next. All of a sudden, you're looking up and you're closing in on double-digit eliminations. Mayapo in the Gulag, and it's against Biffle, Tiff! This is huge, and Biffle wins it! Biffle wants the 1v1 against Mayapo, and this time proves Mayapo wrong. Biffle wins the Gulag.
Hey, you heard Mayapo talking about the 1v1s that he likes to take. Well, he lost it straight to Biffle. That nade forced him out of cover and straight into Biffle's weapon. But you can see we're looking on the flare. We've got smokes in the distance now. Hisoka has taken to the roof, but Sage, can he take down FIFA in the Gulag? Lethal's going out. Snapshot's not connecting. He's got the Molotov in hand, throws it immediately where he thinks FIFA is, but FIFA gets the opening shots.
Plays the wrap. FIFA should know where he is. FIFA rotating in kind. The crowd is starting to cheer FIFA's name, but time is running out.
Skynade.
If the Skynade hits, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run around this stadium. FIFA on flag here shortly, pushes the fight, no! Sage answers back and wins it. And the 5-person NA crowd over to my right goes crazy.
The entire crowd primarily being from EU here to support them, but for those who have traveled across the pond to support their North American teams flying out. But here's the deal, Aiden and Rated have maintained the positioning here at Marshlands. It's giving them that overview. You can see in the distance, Team Echo has still got into zone, but they're relatively split on that northern river across from Marshlands. But this is what I was worried about. We knew it was a 3-2-1 meta with the Signal 50, and Adrian has it in hand, keeping an eye out. We got a crack already. Castillo, you got to be worried.
Yeah, this is exactly where you want to be if you're Aiden, Rated, and Adrian. I did spy Azen down below. I think it was Gromalok somehow stabilizing after the DBZ encounter. Got a moment of reprieve here before the chaos ensues of all the teams trying to rotate in, and Tiff, we might finally see some water zones. We might finally see some F-tag sieges. I know Skullface had pulled one out earlier to prepare for it, but it stayed on land. This time around, I have a feeling we're going to see something crazy underwater.
When our players make that F-Tag Siege loadout, they come up with such cunning names. I think Z-Smith himself called it like the shark catcher or something, like my shark loadout, so you can just get into the water. And that makes such a big difference, because if you don't have that F-Tag Siege in hand, you will not be able to fire underwater. But Mayapo back in to join Skullface and Soka. A nice buyback or a flare. Let's jump into a listen and check out what their next move is.
Mate, you have your blue launcher, right?
No.
Oh, behind you!
Three in the bridge, one wire, three in the bridge. Under the bridge, right under.
Somebody lagging, holy shit.
I can't even flare.
Probably underwater. I'm smoke again, I'm gonna smoke again.
You got the flare or no?
I do, I'll flare.
How did you want? Under the bridge,
Okay. We gotta keep swimming. Swim to these other buildings.
We gotta go March.
Guy landed in the water over here.
Yeah.
Keeping eyes for a skull?
No more smoke, by the way.
Hey, good use of the flare and smoke to get Skullface back into the lobby. And you know what happens? They're not necessarily going to immediately drop down on them. It's not necessarily safe, but Skullface can call out for the rotation that Soka and Mayapo are making. But Sage over here intense, running into a little bit of an issue. Shifty and Biffle still alive, but Sage on the ground, going up against multiple teams. But it's the starter pistol from Palooka that comes in and takes him down.
Flex, Palooka, Tojo, they got 15th in stage 2, just barely eking their way skipping past LCQs. Here making a name for themselves on main stage, taking down the current leaders and the reigning champs of the first 3 maps in terms of point totals. And there are a ton of teams in this area, front, back, left, right, and everywhere in between. You gotta fight together and fight as a unit. Which team do you focus? And will Stukex finally on main stage, all of a sudden getting shot from behind. They still come out on top. Stukex last alive for his team, and King AJ right around the corner.
Able to survive thus far, but the rotation's not over. You can see just in that mini-map to your upper left-hand side of the screen, all of the congestion that lies ahead of him. Team 26, that's gonna be Tactical Brit, is going to have the ultimate high ground, but not before they have to get through Dongy and co. So things are gonna look a little messy for them, as you can see Team Jowo going to fall.
Wars does win the Gulag against Clown, so should be coming back free and clear. Question is, do you land or again kind of play that aerial recon, almost micro UAV that you can play up in the skies? Stukex trying to stay alive, and it looks like Prodigy's gonna leave him alone for now, so Stukex might be able to buy some time and hopefully buy his teammates back, as TBE all up, all alive, but not a lot of resources to share. Question is, where do you go from here? You're not quite in zone, but you want to pick up Crowder and co as they rotate in. Problem is, if you expose your back, all it takes is the, 3, 2, 1 signal shots, and you're out of here. They need a knock to pave a way going forward.
At this point, with Almond not having any shields, no ammo, no resources, you just have to prioritize what you got, but Soka doesn't care. He's gonna go through, down, and out the building, able to grab a crack, but Skullface back in, and Mayapo now not with the squad, but they have found themselves just inside that next circle. And when it closes in 25 seconds, squad number 9, that's going to be Vonbot, is going to be forced directly out of their building and into Soka and Skull. And this would be a well-needed team wipe for them, so they can get resources, maybe find a flare, get some cash, because buy stations are going to be few and far between. And you see the smokes come out, TBE in the water just ahead of DJ Moss, but not before Sage and Shifty are nearby.
Noob's in trouble, last alive, goes down, TBE is out of here. That opens a door of opportunity for rest of the teams inside the top 10 and top 15 to start creeping their way up the money. The shark catcher in the water. Unfortunately, when you've got that pistol, you can't shoot down, and good luck, my friend. Z-Smith fully eliminated as well. Sage still alive and finding more kills to boot. Left, right, and center, and a flare up into the sky. A full stabilization for Sage, Shifty, and Biffle as they creep into the next area of land they can find feet upon.
It didn't even matter that DJ Moss did have that F-Tac Siege, was able to find a couple eliminations before they were taken out by that starter pistol. You see Biffle flying back in, Shifty in the distance, just trying to anchor down, but he's coexisting nearby. Nico Infinite trying to pay for placement as well, because now that we're into 19 squads, that multiplier 4 kills is going to be climbing up, and Soka still alone with Skullface. There is typically a buy station just ahead, but look how many people you have to go through, Goj.
That's a rude awakening if you're Dongi. Hisoka goes big. Skullface in trouble. Question is, can you get the revive off? You have to play patient. Don't want to give away your position just yet. Other teams are focusing forward, and you've got a moment of reprieve to get it. Skullface able to stay alive. Huge for the team. Skullface goes down again, though. It's all going to come down to Hisoka. The fact that he's even alive inside the top 15, Tiff, is ridiculous. They've gone through so much adversity in this map, yet somehow still alive. Speaking of still alive, Shifty on about 2 HP, hiding out in the smoke with 7 eliminations.
Out of plates, forced to dump into the water, but there's Bushwookie C standing on top of Believe and gets taken down. Unreal, unlucky, and Believe racks up another one down to the final 10 squads of this match. The 1.6x multiplier. You asked for water, and you've got it, but Deuce Amir in the distance, now inside the top 5, solidified, are gonna prioritize their rotation, but it's gonna be Aiden. They were here first. They prioritized mid-game to make sure that they were able to stay in Marshlands. Throwing out the Semtex, is looking for it, but he focuses forward, doesn't see the man on his right, Goj.
Empathy, Braxton, Finessin have an opportunity to do something that no other team has done on land. A back-to-back victory could push them all the way up inside the top 5. Empathy in trouble, but Finessin going massive. Somehow Biffle is still alive with health and plates to boot, but the last remaining player for his team, and finds the flare.
Finds a gas mask, finds a flare. Here comes Shifty. Things are getting a little mixy. He finds another flare. I told you the Hail Mary. Welcome backstage. Let's get another dub. We're so close to the top 5. 6 squads remaining, and he is fighting his way forward, but not before Deuce Amir, Z-Dark, and Castillo push the issue because his teammates aren't on the ground to help him, and numbers advantage is important, and Biffle takes down one, but he goes down.
A huge double flare from Biffle means their team's still in it, and they're inside the top 5. They've got the multiplier. Anything else is just bonus, but Mexico has a chance to go big. Not before Shifty tries to answer back. Shifty falls. Finally, the team's eliminated, but inside the top 5, a monster effort to grab a massive multiplier. Mexico is not done yet, Tiff. It's a 2v3. He was on the other side. It's DBZ, all 3 up with the high ground. DBZ needed this to make it to the top 10. DBZ needed this to win the map. DBZ wins map 4, and they're excited for it.
Look, I'm excited for them. Destroy, Zlaner, and Clutchbelk, your winners of map number 4. From the early game contest at Airport to clutching out the end game. The vibes are always real with Destroy, who often competes with Chrissy and co-eds, but now here in the World Series of Warzone, they take a win.
I will never forget the conversation I had with Clutchbelk 2 champs ago when he was talking about teaming up with Destroy and Zlaner. He said DBZ is going to the moon, and they've had their adversities. They've had these mountains to overcome, but they're back.